The Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
I mean, as if we weren't blown away by the news, of course, that Orlando Bloom and Katy Perry
We're
have
really.
split.
Yep.
But then we heard that Jonathan Lapali's been given the flick from Survivor Australia.
The lemon and sauce, Ross.
The what?
The arse. Are you serious?
okay.
You've never heard that?
The amount of
I
sayings
knew I'd get you with that one.
you say, I've
I knew
never
I'd get you
lemon
that one.
and sauce.
Yeah.
So he didn't know. Like, it just came out of the blue, and then he got an email, apparently, saying, see you later. And there were whispers around, apparently.
Whenever there's whispers around in
Showbiz.
in the showbiz, in the media area, you know you're gone for
I
all
know.
money. But he had heard that David Jeanette
Yes.
was a chance to take his role
Yeah.
before he got a phone call.
So that hasn't been officially announced yet,
No.
but that's just the rumour of who his replacement's
that's a lot.
likely to
That's
be.
a lot.
And he's just won nearly $10 million, David Jeanette, in the
don't
American
need it.
Deal or No Deal Island.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
the biggest prize in history. And he won that. Why is he taking...
Jonathan Lapali's job. He
Yeah.
doesn't do any other TV, does he, Jonathan Lapali? He doesn't have many jobs.
That's
No.
his thing is Survivor, and he did
And he's
post
done it for like 10
10 years.
I thought he was good at it.
Me too.
Yeah.
He got the phone call to say that ratings had dipped a little bit.
And we're going in a different direction.
Gone in a different direction, completely blindsided.
It does happen in the media. There's often, you
true.
hear the stories, the execs are in town or whatever, you have a meeting that Arvo, boom, you're gone.
We can't tell you how nervous Ross is whenever he
All
hears
the
that
time.
one of the CEO or one of the execs is in town.
And then I'm like, does anyone need me to host an MC gig? 'Cause I may need a few.
And then they just go, you're all right, mate, for now.
Yeah. And they do, and they're joking, but it hurts when they say that. But this happened, as I said, in the media industry, and it can be, they've served 10, 20, 30 years, and
Yeah.
but yeah, being blindsided like that.
Oh, the biggest one that I've been a part of, and everyone remember it, was
Mark Harvey.
Mark Harvey.
Yes.
When he
happened?
got the ask from Fremantle and Ross Lyon was appointed, it was minutes, right? And I was in a meeting. We're in a meeting doing player reviews for the season.
Yeah.
And you had no idea that this
No,
is...
I went to Harvey Norman, and my brother rang me,
Yeah.
and he goes, "You know, Mark Harvey's been sacked," and I was like, "I've just come from Freo. That's
Yeah.
not,
That's not true.
story."
Yeah,
It's
and
not
you-
true.
yeah.
Yeah.
They would have told me.
Yep, they
So
just
were
pulled him out
you
of the
were
meeting.
Still playing?
No, I
No.
just started as coach.
Yeah, okay, right.
And they pulled him out of a meeting that
Yep.
was taking place.
So he's
And
midway through a
I'd left.
meeting.
Yeah. And they just said, "Come here," and they walked him into the thing, and then
Yep.
they said, "Your
Yeah.
services are no longer needed.
Boom.
Can we have your swipe pass?" Because, they always
Yeah.
get your swipe pass.
Yeah.
And you're like, can I just check my emails first? No.
it's
No.
cut off.
That's
No,
amazing,
no
isn't
intellectual
it?
property.
That's wild.
I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, but they don't. They just say that, don't they? They have to say that.
They don't appreciate time.
You know what's interesting from a job perspective, there's always that person who takes your swipe card,
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
the
Yeah.
security person,
Yeah.
and takes your laptop.
Yeah, it's
It'd be
and you're like, I
Malcolm
thought we
here.
were friends.
Yeah, exactly.
we're friends.
And then they walk you out.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is this?
I know where the door is.
Yeah.
Can I get a free hat?
Take what you can, can't you?
Yeah, just grabbing
Coffee
at
cup.
stuff on the way.
Nova stickers.
We want to know, have you been blindsided like this? Whether it was a job, it could be a relationship.
Lando Bloom.
Relationship.
Lando Bloom.
Orlando Bloom.
Flew over here to see Katie's last performance.
Yeah.
RAC.
Yeah, and then dumped her.
Well,
she
We
dumped
don't
him.
know. We don't know how it went. They're
Allegedly.
co-parenting. Yes.
I heard she was having an affair with one of the dancers.
Sean, there's no foundation for that. Allegedly.
Where did you
There's
hear
a
that?
whisper.
Just a voice in your head. Mel's in Pymelia. Good morning, Mel.
Hi, how are you?
Good, Mel.
Mel, have you been blindsided? What happened?
So about 15 years ago, my mum passed away, and I found out from my grandmother, who was still alive, that I was actually a twin, and I never knew.
Oh.
So apparently the twin had died pretty much late in the pregnancy.
Yeah.
And when my mum had me, I was born just under 5 pounds, so I was really, really light.
Yep.
And my two sisters were 7 pounds, and I always sort of wondered why I was, born so light. And, I found out about 15 years ago that I was actually a twin.
There was two of you.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did that feel? Because we hear about, the twin connection and things like that. Did you ever have any sense of, I don't know, a missing piece or anything like that?
Yeah. Sometimes I felt a bit lost, like there was something missing in my life. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, and now I know what it was, because my mother swore my grandma to secrecy, and
Yep.
and everyone else in the family, and I never found out until she passed away.
Jeez.
You'll never know the connection between twins.
I know, that's right. And I guess
Well, none of us will, yeah.
and if you've never had it, you don't know if that's what it is that you're feeling.
Yeah.
But yeah. Wow. That's extraordinary. Thanks, Mel. Jordan's in South Yanderup. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, George.
Jordan, have you been blindsided? What happened?
A little bit. So, growing up, I've got 2 older brothers and an older sister. And when we were getting married, you know how you give your birth certificate to the celebrant?
Yes.
My wife saw that my birth certificate didn't have any, older siblings on there. And sort of previously. And then so I had asked my older brother about it, and he must have said something to my dad, because he then said something to me, and then it turns out that they have a different dad. But growing up, it was sort of never brought up or anything like that. Yeah.
So you had no idea that they were really only your half siblings and not your full siblings.
Yeah, so me and my younger sister, we look alike.
Yeah.
And in hindsight now, you can kind of see it a little bit. But I guess when you're growing up, you never really think about that sort of thing.
Did they know? Did they know about...
I think he mentioned, my brother had mentioned the time.
Crucial
and
time to break
then,
up.
it kind of just got swept under the rug, and it's just never been brought up since.
That's amazing, isn't it?
That is amazing.
I mean, it doesn't,
and you're going to get married.
doesn't change anything,
No.
but you just go, hang on, what else have I been lied to about?
Yeah, you do.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
A sad story in the paper today, and a word of warning, I think, for everybody. But there was a guy called Paul who's from Southampton in the UK.
Okay.
And he believed that Jennifer Anniston was in love with him.
Alluring him to a relationship.
So it's a deep fake scam. He only...
How deep is this? How deep now?
I mean, the photos look like Jennifer Aniston, I guess.
Yeah.
That's,
great.
AI, maybe?
And if you want to believe that Jennifer Aniston is in love with you, and that furthermore she requires £200 worth of Apple iTunes cards, then it is really believable.
He was sceptical at first, remember that?
He was sceptical over this.
Because he's not an idiot.
No.
But he then, she showed him her driver's license, and he went, oh, that's all the information I need.
Here are some of the exact messages from Jennifer Aniston.
Okay, tell me, Ross.
Talking about the subscription money she needed.
She needed,
Do we know what the subscription was?
Also, Jennifer Aniston doesn't need
money for
subscription money.
What time will you send it to me, my love? Are you there, my love? My subscription is about to expire. Can you send me the $100 Apple card to purchase, my love? And he said, I will later, bye. And she said, okay, which time, my love? 8-ish. And then he was 400, pounds? Or
Yeah, £200, so $400.
He thought Jennifer Aniston was making a play for him.
There's a lady in France who got done by Brad Pitt as well. Similar thing, except she's more money. Yeah. A deep fake of Brad Pitt. Okay. Rule of thumb, everybody, listen, write this down if you need to. If they are a Hollywood star who's been in a movie, it's unlikely they're going to contact you on the internet and say, I'm in love with you. It's unlikely.
It is, but
it's not 100% impossible, but it's unlikely. And look in the mirror and then look at you and then look at them and ask yourself. Because I know.
Is this happening?
I love Brad Pitt, don't worry. And I would go out with him in a heartbeat, but I know he's not going to ask me.
He's not coming?
I know
he's not knocking on the door.
He's not knocking on the door. He's not hitting me up via DMs on Instagram. He's just not.
Here's another example. This happened to a lady over east not long ago, and she's 77 years old, Olivia. She downloaded a dating app, quickly met a Belgian man claiming to work overseas. They dated for 8 months online.
But online, yes.
They
I didn't meet in
dated
person.
online.
Yeah,
but this is where the red flags really come up. He encouraged her to invest in Bitcoin.
Oh.
And he showed her documents where it appeared to have made $13,000 in 1 week. So he's like, get involved. And then 2 years in of this online dating, he convinced her to send him $433,000 through different.
That would have been her life savings.
Through different crypto ATMs.
Yeah, no crypto. And if they ask for Apple iTunes vouchers, also red flag. Also, if it's Brad Pitt, red flag.
Red flag it.
If I meet Brad Pitt on my holiday, if you meet them in person,
that's no problem.
Notting Hill it up. It's all, you go for it if you meet them in person. But if it's just online, it's probably A deep fake.
I don't think it's that deep.
It's quite a shallow fake, I would
Very
think.
shallow.
So be alert. They're out there trying to get your money.
Yeah.
Don't send it. If you haven't met them in person, don't send them money.
No.
It's also, most of the time, if you have met them in person, don't send them money.
Don't send them money.
Good rule of thumb, isn't it?
This is the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
We're joined by, well, we know him as J-Mo, part of the Nova family. He does Confidential on Sunday nights with Tanya Hennessy, but he's also a print journo and now author and male model, of course. We forgot that bit. J-Mo has written a book called Mental as Anyone, a toolkit for surviving and thriving on the chaotic roller coaster of life. And don't we all need it?
Mate, I don't know how you do these breakfast hours. I've been up since 6:30 and I'm exhausted.
Because you're still on Sydney time, right?
I don't know what time.
It throws you out a bit,
I
doesn't
did
it?
wake up at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Look, I'm touring the country. I'm very happy to be here in Subiaco.
Yes.
I'm just getting to know the locals.
Yeah, we are.
You saw a few of them earlier on in town. You saw the Perth locals in town.
I certainly did, and they are colourful. Even more colourful. There's a lot of colour in this book, but more colour than... I was blushing.
Yeah, you get quite the characters in
Couple
this.
of on the burners early
That's
in the morning just to kick the day off.
That's our culture, J-Mo.
I love how you warn me not to swear when I come on the wireless.
Yes,
And then
like
we
it's
talk
not,
about this.
Doesn't do the right.
I said it to you.
No, Ross, you said it to J-Mo.
Yeah, but no one says it to Sean, and he's the wild
Yeah, I can tell.
one you need to rein
loose
in.
unit.
He needs
I
some
gotta-
moisturiser. Look at him. He's like straight in there going,
We've had to dump him multiple times for the delay
Hey, did
system
he?
because he swears.
really?
Yeah. Don't do it again. We can only do it once, remember?
What about J-Mo?
Well, I can dump him.
Let's talk about J-Mo's book, eh?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Absolutely, J-Mo.
Can I just start with, so you talk about the life toolkit.
Yes.
Can you just, I always need help with anything.
Give him a spanner.
So,
Give us a couple of tools, please. Sorry.
I thought you said I
Mental.
wasn't allowed to swear.
Wait for the ad break at least.
You've got a
Ross.
wedding ring on there, my friend. Roscoe. Listen, for me, it's about being kind to yourself. That all sounds very airy-fairy, mung beans, Byron Bay. But I think we need to just strip it back to basics, right? The phones that we have on us, they are like disaster zones. I have to turn my phone on when I go to bed, at least half an hour before. I have to constantly reaffirm myself because I don't know if you guys feel it, but I feel always that someone's going to catch me out for being a fraud or for being an imposter.
Imposter syndrome's a big deal.
Do you have that?
Yeah.
Really?
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
you've been doing this for 100 years.
Yeah, but someday someone's going to find out we're really shit at it.
Nobody
Language.
knows. We don't know what we're doing.
Told ya.
Yeah, so look, I think I'm not alone. That's the point of the book, is that I'm drawn on a lot of trauma in my life, but I'm not alone. You guys all have your own trauma, right? I'm just willing and able at this point, I might be regretting it soon, to put it all down, and it's all in here.
So you have drawn on your own life as the material
it's a
to...
memoir.
Yes.
And then there's the self-help toolkit. So I've got a doctor, Jodie Lowinger, because I'm not a doctor. I've played doctors and nurses plenty of times. But Dr. Jodie Lowinger does the psych toolkit, and my stuff is my memoir. So it is dealing with, I was sexually abused as a kid. I was in a psych ward for attempting my life over times. I've had deep, dark trauma around life and death, losing some people that I love. So it's about that, and it's to illustrate that no matter how seemingly successful someone is, no matter how much money they might have in the bank, I don't have much at the moment, you can still hit rock bottom.
Yes.
But I've come out the other side.
Yeah, that's right.
And
That's
I'm
the
happy to
other
be
thing. That's
alive.
the
It
other
is a
lesson,
joyful
isn't it?
book.
Yes.
This is not a woe is me sad book.
Yes.
There's a lot of laughs.
But J-Mo, to bring this stuff up and put it
Publicly.
in print, because you've got to relive this
It's
stuff
brave.
when you're... Yeah. How was that for you?
I just think the only way I can live
Yeah.
is to be truthful. And I know that there are a lot of voiceless people out there that don't have the ability or the strength right now to do that. And I've been in that position, so I have that now, and I've come out the other side. I'm not going to lie, I feel very vulnerable right now, very exposed and very vulnerable, and even more feeling like I could be caught out for being a fraud or having the imposter syndrome. So, yeah, it is very raw. So we were having dinner last night, and I was thinking, how do I try and help myself and protect myself
Protect
over
yourself,
the next
yeah.
little while, because now all of my deepest, darkest things, like
It's out there.
the most, everyone says they're going to tell all. There's a lot of warts in this book.
Can I ask you, there's so many questions, but for years and years, we never talked about this on radio, and you never saw it on TV,
weren't
right?
allowed
So
to.
no one was allowed to, and there was people who unfortunately were taking their lives, and no one could put it in the media at all
No.
because they didn't want to put a focus on that. That's completely been. That was the wrong way to attack something like this.
Well, if
that's
we
the right
don't
way.
if we don't tackle it head on, and people are then pushed further into shame, then how are we going to move forward?
Yeah.
And then we started going, okay, let's ask people if they're okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yes.
Really great.
Open that conversation.
So we've opened the conversation.
What's
but
next?
then no one knew how to answer that question if they were going through hell, or they didn't know
what
how to
say
receive
if somebody
it.
said it. Yeah, that's right.
So I started going a few years ago, okay, I'm having a pretty ordinary day. And people would look at me like, oh, I don't know what to do with you.
Yeah.
And so the only way we can do this is we just keep talking about it. We don't want people to copycat. We don't want people to be
No.
alone any further than they already are. So let's make them feel less alone.
Yeah.
We're all mental. I'm reclaiming the word mental.
Yes.
I'm neurospicy. I'm all of the fabulous things because that makes the world go round. I'm not
Yes.
unique. There are a lot of people that have had far more trauma than I have. And let's try and be in it together and be a bit kinder. Straight
a bit more sensitive to
straight
people.
blokes are not asking each other if they're okay, and then they're not talking about it. 9 people take their life in this country a day. 7 of those are men, 2
Yes.
of those are women, and every 8 minutes someone tries to take their life. That is past crisis in this country.
Yeah, that's
Way
right.
past. Why is it 7 out of 9 are male?
You tell me.
Yeah.
You tell me.
I had a conversation with a kid, a young man recently, and I've told these guys off air, but he told me that he kind of reached out to friends around them and they weren't kind of hearing what he was saying.
Yeah. And I think that, I'm a gay guy, shock, and I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I always have. So I've never really had a problem being fun and, that person. But even for me, it's been really difficult because I've masked all of this stuff. It's been really difficult to go, hey, I am flawed and I am, because I've tried to keep my ship sailing. I've had a very successful career. I've traveled the world. I've interviewed every celebrity there is on the planet. And, I manage. But there are times where I have been broken, and there are times where I will be broken in the future, and I cannot get out of bed, literally cannot get out of bed. And, my default is to not like myself, to look in the mirror and think that I'm not a good person.
That you're less than
Is there something
because
you
of
can
that.
look at-
yeah.
Is there something you can look at to remind you that you matter,
that's not true,
that you're
yeah.
loved?
I have to tell myself, I literally have to say, hang on, this is not logical. I know the logic, but then my head tells me other things. I'm terrified about my weight, always have been. I don't like looking in the mirror because I look in the mirror and all I can see is my gobbled chin of a turkey and my gut and all of that stuff. Unfortunately, we're not all blessed with your bodies here. And
Sean agrees.
That was,
Yeah, it's a gift. He's all he's got.
And it's hard. But Grant, I do a podcast as well called Mental as Anyone, and Grant Denyer went on there and he spoke about the fact that he doesn't look in the mirror. He literally avoids mirrors like the plague. And then I realised that I do too. And so, in the past, we've been very fearful of talking about these things. And I do need to say we do need to put a reference to Lifeline because some of this could be triggering for people out there.
13, 11, 14. Call
They
anytime.
do incredible work, by the way.
Amazing.
Incredible. And you don't have to be on the brink of ending it all to call them. They're like, no, just call us if you've got no one else to talk to about stuff. Don't
sure.
wait till things are dire.
Yeah.
You can call them ahead
Prevention.
of time.
Let's
Yeah,
get in
that's right.
early and talk
Yep.
about it. That's why I do stuff with Gotcha for Life. Gus Wallen's written the foreword. Guy Sebastian's written a foreword as well. And we need to get in early and have these conversations so that when people do get to a dire situation that they're able to talk about it.
Yeah, for sure. And even you just coming on here and talking about it as freely and openly as you are tells other people that it's okay to do that.
I hope so.
And also that they're not the only one. I think
not the only one.
it is a very solitary thing. You feel like you are the only person going through it, that you're hiding it from the world and that nobody else is experiencing what you're experiencing. And we know that objectively to not be true now.
I do, but I also feel a bit self-indulgent, when I'm sharing all this stuff and I'm like, oh, gosh, I'm just talking about myself constantly. But I do have to, I've been getting such lovely messages from people saying, oh my goodness, I related to this and I related to that. And I've loved that I've been getting it from people from all different walks of life, people from straight mates from high school with their kids and saying these are the messages I want my kids to go through.
Yes.
Everyone thought I was going to do a tell-all celebrity thing about, the first question I'm asked is who's the worst celebrity, who's the best celebrity.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And it's such a boring question because most of them are boring and most of them are really shit, as you swore.
Thank you.
That was, you need to dump me.
Yeah.
And they're not really, but it's like, who cares? The truth is they're just the same as us. They go to the toilet, they have their same stuff going on. And so I wasn't interested. There is a smattering of celebrities in there because I wanted to have, that is part of my life. And it illustrates that even in the darkest of dark times, I kept myself together miraculously. I don't know how. And put one foot in front of the other.
And lots of people are doing the same thing but going through those private struggles at home.
Yeah.
They hear someone talking about it, they can relate, they feel better.
Exactly.
Not alone.
Buy the book, everybody. Mental as Anyone by Jonathan Moran and Dr. Jodie Lowinger.
Jonathan Moran.
J-Mo.
J-Mo.
I've been sneaking around town signing books. There's a couple of stores that haven't received their lot yet, so just keep asking.
Keep an eye out for it, or buy it online.
Or buy it online
Like
if
a
you
modern
Amazon or the
person, Sean.
Booktopia or any of that. And if you do like it, then go online and tell me you like it on Amazon or one of those. You give us a review. If you don't like it, then keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, absolutely.
But read it and buy it anyway. Yeah, you're going to love it. J-Mo, thanks for coming in.
J-Mo.
We can listen to you on Sunday nights on the Nova Network as well with Tanya Hennessy. You do a great job.
She's a treat, isn't she?
Isn't
She's a sight for sore
Isn't she
eyes.
just? Exactly. Yeah. J-Mo, what a legend. Thanks, mate.
Nathan, Nat and Sean is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au. Nova.